Okay, if you're a fan of those rental scooters and bikes in downtown Cleveland, here's a heads up. While the companies that operate those two-wheelers want to bring more to town, city leaders want to see some changes first. Our old friend Mark Naymik, the managing editor of News at Signal Cleveland, has been following the latest developments in that case. Is here to break it down for us. Mark, it's good to see you, as always.
Glad to be here.
Let's start off with just talking about how popular these things have become.
It surprised me. Since they launched in 2019, there's been 3 operators here. 1.9 million rides have been taken on those scooters for, 2 million miles worth around town. That really was a shocker that came out during a meeting this week. A small meeting, very few attended. Someone from Signal Cleveland's documenters crew was there paying attention, and there's a big discussion going on.
Yeah, I want to ask you also about, we've talked about this, and I know you've mentioned it before, these scooters can clutter up the place,
yeah,
I guess.
It's hard to get out of some places. You get tripped up over them. One of the operators, Lime, they have the green scooters. They've actually begun forcing people to park them in certain areas. They won't turn off the billing. Your rate will keep going unless you get it somewhere. The city is talking about going to a system like that, where there'll be hubs around town that you have to park, maybe even physical corrals to park these in, to create a much less cluttered area. If you look at the map, and they showed these during the meeting, of where all the scooters and bikes get dropped, it looks like someone kind of sneezed on a map of downtown. It's all over. But as they began to force them to park, it really became nice clusters. They got a long way to go. That's something the city's working on.
Is the city looking for any other changes as we move forward?
Yeah, right now they're talking about changing those hours again. We used to be 7, 9 to 11. There's some talk of bringing that back down to 9, because while accidents haven't really increased over safety, there is the drunk driver out there that they've come across. There was some concern there, but they really want to push these into some more neighborhoods. Get people out there, maybe getting to transit. You saw some West Side council members talking during this committee saying, why aren't we seeing them out by us in Cam's Corner? A lot of issues that go with it, but first thing they have to do is expand the current regulations that would allow more bikes. Right now, each company can bring 400 in.
With all those bikes out there now and perhaps more on the way, does the city get any cash from this at all?
Not a lot, about 15 cents per mile. And that came out to, if you looked at the numbers from 2019 through 2022, about $150,000. Now that money gets specifically set aside for programs to deal with transportation and mobility. So it's a little bit to help the city, but it's not. It's more about trying to become a progressive city with this kind of transportation, make the downtowns a little less cluttered with Ubers and other things.
Wow, and there they are right now. We see them downtown, and boy, they are fun. They look like a lot of fun. I've never been on one. They do look a lot of fun. Have you ridden one?
Yeah, only once, and it still worries me when I hear that my daughter's on them. I ride the bike, I wear a helmet, the scooter thing, only go 15 miles an hour. Some talk of, they have slow zones, but do we want to increase speed? Was a question asked during the hearing. All 3 companies said, not a good idea. We'll keep it at 15 miles.
Gotcha. And Signal Cleveland, once again, congratulations. We miss you over here, of course. We're glad you can come and help us out now. And then things are going great over there?
Things are busy. They're tough. As a startup,
Sure.
I want to sprint, but we have to crawl and then walk. But we are trying to bring news, and I think we have a big team out there that is picking up things like this. Not the most important issue in the world right now, but it's one very relevant to the city and its downtown growth.
Well, it's glad to have you and the team over there and you over here, as I said, once in a while helping us out. Once again, thanks, Mark.
Thank you.